Kawan-kawan pers yang kami cintai, hari ini Presiden COP-26 Glasgow, Bapak Alok Sharma, beliau datang ke Indonesia. Saya kira ini usaha yang sangat baik dan memang menjadi agenda beliau untuk meyakinkan negara-negara anggota di dunia untuk tercapainya penyelesaian secara baik karbon netral untuk seluruh dunia. Dengan LHK tadi dibicarakan dan memang faktor utamanya sebetulnya adalah dukungan finansial dan teknologi. Karena secara umum mengenai perangkat-perangkat, sistem, teknik, pelaporan, dan lain-lain untuk Indonesia kita udah kerja keras sejak tahun 2016. Ada aspek yang berat. Tadi Pak Presiden COP menanyakan pada saya tentang net zero emission, dan saya melaporkan bahwa kalau untuk forestry sektor, kalau untuk sektor kehutanan, itu pada tahun 2030 itu sudah bisa netral, bahkan sudah positif, sudah bisa menyimpan karbon sebanyak 140 juta ton. Tapi kita punya problem, yaitu pada sektor energi. Ini sektor yang relatif berat karena konsumsi listrik rakyat kita kan juga masih kecil. Kalau negara sejahtera itu konsumsi listriknya harus di atas 3.500 sampai 5.400. Sekarang rata-rata listrik rakyat kita baru antara 1.100, paling tinggi 1.300. Jadi kita masih kerja keras. Oleh karena itu saya meminta Pak Menteri SDM untuk kita kerja keras melakukan exercise. Bapak Presiden sebetulnya sudah memerintahkan untuk dibuat roadmap bagaimana mengurangi PLTU yang didukung oleh batu bara. Jadi memang masalah utamanya ada di batu bara dalam arti kalau teknologinya jelek, kalau dukungan finansialnya jelek. Oleh karena itu kawan-kawan, kita akan dengarkan harapan Presiden COP, perspektif dan hal-hal yang penting bagi dunia, dan sehingga beliau merasa perlu untuk mengajak Indonesia bersama-sama. Your Excellency.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Minister City, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming today, and thank you, Minister, for hosting this press conference with me and for the very constructive discussions that we have had today. It's a pleasure to be back in Jakarta. It's a lovely setting. And the aim of our meeting today has been to discuss the objectives for COP26 and how we can strengthen further the very good working relationship that we already have with the Indonesian government on climate action. And I want to thank the government of Indonesia for making this visit possible and for the very warm welcome that I have received from ministers and indeed everyone that I have met so far. I've said this to the minister in our discussions just now, but I'm delivering a consistent message to all countries on what we need to achieve on the road to, and of course at, COP26 in 5 months' time. Our overarching aim for COP26 is to keep within reach the prospect of limiting global temperature rises to 1.5 degrees. This is what world leaders signed up to as part of the Paris Agreement 6 years ago. And to achieve this, I'm asking countries, all countries, to deliver on 4 goals. First, to set out targets to get us to net zero by the middle of the century and to come forward with 2030 emissions reduction targets to take us there. I'm very pleased to hear the Minister say that the forestry sector can be net zero by 2030. Second, we are asking every country to arrive in Glasgow having set out their adaptation priorities. And again, I know that the government of Indonesia has set out an adaptation plan already. Thirdly, we must mobilize finance to tackle climate change by meeting the commitment on the $100 billion a year that was promised by donor countries. And of course, we also need to work to get a private finance flowing into climate action. And fourth, we need to work together across borders and indeed across the whole of society to keep the 1.5-degree target in reach and build consensus amongst governments so that the negotiations in Glasgow are a success. Now, I want to say that I very much welcome President Jokowi's commitment to tackle climate change, and I want to pay tribute to the Indonesian government for their commitment to tackle deforestation. Indonesia's current deforestation rate has now fallen to the lowest in 20 years. We also welcome Indonesia's co-chairing of the Forests, Agriculture and Commodity Trade Dialogue together with the UK as we work together to lead these efforts internationally. And I also welcome Indonesia's commitment to transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy, which of course includes PLN's 2050 net zero commitment, whereby it will stop building coal-fired power plants after 2023. The government's Low Carbon Development Initiative report, which shows that the highest levels of emissions reductions would deliver the strongest economic growth, is also very much welcomed. And I can tell you that from a United Kingdom perspective, we believe that green growth is possible. We have over the last 30 years grown our economy by over 70% and yet cut emissions by over 40% as well. And I said to the Minister that I have come to Indonesia following a successful G7 climate and environment ministers meeting, which I co-chaired. And on the road to COP-26, the whole of the G7 has committed to 2050 net zero targets and 2030 nationally determined contributions, which put us on track to deliver on these net zero commitments. And so for the first time, all G7 countries agreed to end overseas coal financing by the end of 2021, and we also agreed to phase out new direct government support for carbon-intensive international fossil fuels. The G7 countries have also agreed to overwhelmingly decarbonize our power systems in the 2030s. And I believe that this will be a crucial step to keeping alive the prospect of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees. Now, of course, the world's attention will be on the G20, on other large countries, countries which collectively are responsible for 80% of global emissions. And I do believe that this is an opportunity for all of those countries to also show leadership. Now, of course, as a leading G20 country and host of next year's G20 summit, I look forward to Indonesia taking a leading role on these matters. And indeed, I think there is a very real prospect that Indonesia can become a global leader when it comes to tackling climate change. You will all know that at the Leaders Climate Summit on the 22nd of April, hosted by President Biden, President Jokowi committed to putting climate change at the heart of his G20 presidency, with strengthened cooperation and sustainable development as the key drivers. I believe these steps will not only save our planet, but they will also create economic growth and green jobs. And the UK, as I said to the Minister, is committed to supporting Indonesia's climate ambition, including through our Mentari programme and the new fire dialogues on the energy transition, and ensuring that we have green growth whilst cutting emissions. As I said, we've shown that in the UK, and I do believe it is possible. One other statistic I gave to the Minister was the fact that in 2012, coal accounted for 40% of our electricity generation. That figure is now less than 2%, and we'll be phasing out coal entirely from our electricity generation by 2024. So we know that this is possible. And I know that from my discussions with leaders in Asia this week, and indeed beyond, just how big an opportunity people see in the transition to clean energy. And whether it's leading the world on solar power and wind energy, or creating the technologies of tomorrow, such as hydrogen power or battery storage, I do believe it is there for the taking. And so let me end this statement by saying that my message coming to Indonesia, going to other parts of the world, is one of hope, it's one of optimism, but it's also one of urgency. So let's work together to take the opportunities of green growth. And I do believe we owe that to not just our generation, but also future generations. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to take some questions alongside the Minister.
Thank you very much. Mas Nuh, nggak usah ada pertanyaan ya, kasihan untuk kepanasan. Baik, nggak usah ya, kasihan tuh, udah keringetannya banyak. Oke, terima kasih kawan-kawan ya. Selamat sore, terima kasih banyak. I asked them not to have questions.
Yes, yes, exactly. I'm warm outside. Exactly. Well, I hope the statement. I hope the statement sets out the position that I have said to the government here. I will repeat to other ministers tomorrow, and I look forward to further close working with our friends in Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.